what were your thoughts and feelings when you became a father for the first time?
Oh, wow. I always wanted to be a father. I had, with Narda and I, discussed in our early years that, yes, I want children. And so Narda became pregnant during our honeymoon in Europe, which was 11 countries over 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks in 11 countries, which Rolly and Clarence came with us. Believe it or not, my sister and brother-in-law came on our honeymoon with us, but it was the most fun we have ever had.
Nice.
And we had mentioned to a lot of people when we got married, rather than give us like toasters and things that would be duplicated by others, we would appreciate just a cash contribution.
Yeah.
And so the word got around, so we had enough money to go on this honeymoon. Yeah, so we went on the honeymoon and came back from that, went to work. Gee whiz. Oh, I forget the line of your question.
So I was asking, what were your thoughts or feelings when you first became a father?
Okay. So, yeah, so Narda got pregnant on honeymoon. She gets pregnant, big belly. She's working and selling Tupperware to bring in a little bit extra money. Still living in the apartment building on the 4th floor. Eric and Bernie are born. I'm doing a lot of babysitting at night. She's doing out parties, trying to sell stuff. And I would help her pack the stuff when the orders came in. We were working together. We had a good relationship all the time. So we were a part of a bowling league. Even though Narda was pregnant, she still was bowling. And I was in a bowling league. We'd play once a week. And so we still kept going and bowling league. And Narda, water broke, I think, at the bowling alley. And we knew it was time to get the heck out of there and go to the hospital. And yeah, that same night, wee hours of the morning, I think it was about 1 or 2 in the morning when she finally gave birth. And I was just elated. I was in the delivery room, which I wanted to be. And when today, I wasn't able to touch Eric as he was coming out, but I was there watching it. I was there in person and holding her as she was pushing, and that kind of stuff was, to me, one of the greatest pleasures I could have being at my son's birth. That was awesome. I remember going after the birth and going back home, and I was just floating down there, I'm telling you. That was awesome. I just lost control. I went out in the balcony and I screamed to the top of my voice, "I'm a father!" and stretching my arms way out. I was so excited about that. I felt so good.
Yes. I assume it was similar for each birth.
It was. I was at each birth for all 3 sons, and every occasion was like the first one all over again. I didn't quite go crazy out in the balcony after with the other 3, but the other 2 rather. But yeah, it was still really exciting to be a father. I always wanted to be a father, and so I had my family. And of course, Bernie came along because Narda's. We had a talk, and she said, "I grew up as like an only child, although she came from a large family. There's a big gap between her and the next sibling. Mm-hmm. So she basically grew up alone and didn't really particularly like that. And she wanted to have Eric to have a brother to go up with and not be alone as well."
Yeah, or sister.
So we discussed that, and so it wasn't long that Bernie was born. About a 1.5 year difference between Bernie and Eric. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then another 1.5 years, maybe 2 years between Bernie and Paul. Mm-hmm. And Bernie was born, like in Brampton Hospital, so was Eric, and Paul in Southampton.
I don't remember.
Well, okay, there's a reason we had Paul. We'll just touch on that a little bit. We had joined the church when we were in Brampton. After Eric and Bernie were born, the missionaries came knocking at our door. This is a very long story, so I'm just going to cut it really short.
I'll ask you more about that later.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what church did you join?
I became one of those Catholics that went at Christmas and Easter. Didn't go to church on a regular basis. So we weren't going to any church.
When missionaries came.
But yeah, so, Narda kind of said, "Heavenly Father, if you let us have," when we moved to Port Elgin, it was with 2 kids, and she said, "Heavenly Father, if you let us have another a house to live in," we found a house. I already explained how that happened. Mm-hmm. And we're able to get a good job and move up there. she had made a covenant more or less with the Heavenly Father that if that could happen, she'd have willing to have another child. And sure enough, we had Paul.
Was 3 always the number that you guys wanted?
Pretty well.
Yeah.
We didn't want to go beyond that. No, we didn't want 7 kids.
Ed wanted to try again, hopefully get a girl.
That, yes, I always wanted a girl. I wanted like one of each. That would have been, we probably would have stopped right there. But we didn't have a girl yet, so we kept trying. And then
I said,
Paul was not Pauline.
I said, 3 strikes and you're out.
Yeah, 3 strikes and you're out. That's what she said, yeah. But
Nice.
3, yeah, we were happy to have the 3 boys. That's it.